All right, the time is now 5:30. The date is October the 17th, 2023. We will call to order the meeting for the Statesboro City of Statesboro Mayor and Council. We will have our invocation and pledge of allegiance by Mayor Pro Tem Sherry Ball.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, friends, visitors, guests. I invite you to join me in a moment of prayer. As you will, close your eyes, open your ears, open your hearts. Even as we breathe in and out, our breath supports us throughout our lifetime. It's often unconscious, we don't think about it, but we can slow and pause and notice and breathe in and breathe out and bring our attention together to this space and this time. Even as our breath and our heartbeat is always with us, I suggest there's a deep inner calm always with us and available. I invite us all to breathe in and breathe out and reach into that deep, calm space that's always available. The still, small, quiet, inner wisdom that we may know as God, our spirit, or by whatever name. But let us breathe in and breathe out and tap into that guidance such that we may move gently through this world, such that we can treat one another as the divine sparks we all are. May we open to listen. May we open to work together for the good of us all. May it be so. Amen. Amen. And blessed be. Join me in prayer, please. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll move down to agenda item 3. We're going to start out today with agenda item B. Agenda item 3B being the first. That's a presentation of Merited Service Award to Captain Jerry Akins, Corporal Jessica Collins, APO Joy DeLoach, Officer Damian Truesdale, and Communications Officers Sidney Johns. Chief, will you come and give us some insight on this one?
Sorry, Mayor, I had to hunt up my glasses. So if I can have Communications Officer Sidney Johns, Officer Damian Truesdale, and Advanced Patrol Officer Joy DeLoach, meet me up at the podium, please. So I know Captain Akins and Corporal Jessica Collins are both out of town. They're on this as well. What I thought I would do is just read this into the record, and then I'll present the awards to them. So at approximately 3 a.m. on September 23rd, 2023, the police department received calls of a shooting in progress in the area of Johnson Street and Spruce Street. Upon arrival, officers were confronted with a chaotic scene involving a huge crowd, with multiple shots still being fired as the officers arrived. It was later determined that there were at least 5 different firearms, including 2 rifles being discharged from different areas in that immediate vicinity. 2 of the responding officers engaged in a successful foot pursuit with an armed subject and took that subject into custody. Captain Jerry Akins, Corporal Jessica Collins, Advanced Patrol Officer Joey DeLoach, and Officer Damian Truesdale attempted to instill some sense of order. Within minutes, multiple victims began appearing at the hospital, all transported privately, creating another crime scene with more witnesses and victims to be secured. APO DeLoach was directed by some witnesses to a female screaming in the nearby woodline. Without hesitation, APO DeLoach approached the woman to determine if she had been shot. The female had broken her leg while attempting to flee the scene, and APO DeLoach calmed her and summoned an ambulance. Communications Officer Sidney Johns was in the dispatch center working alone when the call came out. She was able to effectively communicate with the multiple phone lines as well as the multiple officers dealing with the tense and unfolding scene. She then had the additional calls from the hospital and found a way to coordinate a response. In addition, other unrelated calls for service continued to come into the dispatch center, and Communications Officer Johns handled it professionally. These members of the Statesboro Police Department were confronted with a dangerous, chaotic scene and were able to restore order in a short period of time, and then secured multiple crime scenes. They are to be commended for their professional, meritorious service to our community. If I could have Advanced Patrol Officer Logan Gay and Sergeant Nathaniel Janey join me at the podium, please. So I'll read this into the record. From the same incident, on September 23rd, 2023, at approximately 0300 hours, officers were dispatched to the area of Johnson Street and Spruce Street for reported shots fired. Upon arrival, officers observed dozens of people fleeing in cars and many more fleeing the area on foot. Gunshots were audible as officers arrived, and officers could observe muzzle flashes in multiple directions. It was later determined that at least 5 different shooters fired more than 100 rounds during the street party. As Sergeant Janey arrived on scene, he could hear the gunshots and also saw muzzle flashes from more than one location in the immediate area. He observed one specific male holding an AR-style firearm and saw the subject discharge the rifle. The offender then saw the officer and began to flee the area on foot, still holding the rifle. Sergeant Janey initially pursued the suspect in his car until the person entered a wooded area. Sergeant Janey then left the cover of his patrol car and proceeded to engage in a foot pursuit over rough and uneven ground. Advanced Patrol Officer Gay arrived and heard Sergeant Janey call out the pursuit over the police radio. He then observed the foot pursuit between Sergeant Janey and the armed male. Advanced Patrol Officer Gay maneuvered his patrol car in an effort to cut off the escaping subject and encountered him approximately 1 block away. He exited his patrol car and ordered the suspect to halt at gunpoint. The subject ultimately surrendered, and Advanced Patrol Officer Gay was able to get the subject to lay down as Sergeant Janey arrived to handcuff the individual. These officers were confronted with an active shooting and a chaotic scene. They engaged in a pursuit with an armed subject who was seen discharging a rifle into a crowd and then actively attempted to evade capture. These 2 officers remained composed while dealing with a dangerous and armed subject. And for both of them, we're going to award them the Medal of Valor. If I could have Officer Jonathan Trevor join me, please. So while reviewing the Medals of Valor for the last two gentlemen, I was reminded of an incident that happened last May, for which we rewarded Officer Trelaw with a letter of commendation. But in light of the recent Medals of Valor, I wanted to upgrade his previous letter to a Medal of Valor as well. So I'll read this into the record. On Friday, May 5th, 2023, Officer Jonathan Trelaw responded to the area of Morris Heights Apartments on a report of a juvenile with a firearm. There have been a number of recent shooting incidents in this specific neighborhood in the days previous to this call. Upon arrival, Officer Trelaw observed a subject matching the clothing description as reported by the unidentified caller. When the subject saw the officer, he immediately fled on foot, and Officer Trelaw engaged in a foot pursuit. At one point, the male subject stumbled, and in so doing, a pistol fell out of the pocket of his hoodie. He immediately retrieved the pistol and pointed it in the officer's direction. Officer Trelaw took immediate evasive action. The subject, rather than shooting at the officer, chose to turn and run, while still maintaining the pistol in his hand. Officer Trelaw re-engaged in the pursuit, continuously giving the subject verbal commands to surrender. When the subject realized he was not going to be able to escape, he ultimately threw the pistol down and surrendered. Officer Trelaw was able to take the suspect into custody and retrieve the discarded pistol. Jonathan Trelaw's display of professionalism and restraint is to be commended. This situation was tense and rapidly evolving, and the officer was able to maintain his composure throughout the incident. Officer Trelaw's actions on May 5th, 2023 displayed conspicuous valor at the risk of his own life.
That's it.
Can we get a group photo?
Yeah, we want to do that. But before we do the group photo, I do want to say this. This is why I stand with this department 100%. These men and women put their lives on the line to keep us safe. And with the utmost respect, Statesboro PD, I want you to know we love you guys. We're working hard for you. We're fighting hard for you. But more than that, we want you to know that we appreciate you for everything that you do, the sacrifices that you make, and to carry this city the way that you do. We really wanted to say thank you, thank you, thank you. From the bottom of our hearts, we appreciate everything you do. Let's give them all a round of applause. God bless you. And now, Lane, this is where you tell us what to do, right?
Is there anybody who got an award come before, please?
Help.
So, yeah.
Thank you, guys.
This way a little bit, center you it right under the seal right here. This way a little bit more. Yep, okay. You two squeeze in. Yep, that works. You still get window right there, so that. Over here? Chief, you're getting this too.
Yeah, make sure right behind her is the center.
Right there.
Just a little. Mayor, can you step up? There you go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3.
Congratulations, thank you.
Do you mind, I'm not trying, could we get just employees? Sure.
Okay.
Ready, 1, 2, oh, Mayor, could you actually stay back there? Yeah.
Sue will be.
1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3.
We all leave. Is this good?
As there's basically, we're going to go on to our next agenda item. We'll move down to our agenda item 3D, which is a presentation of a proclamation to Safe Haven, recognizing October 2023 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Come forward, if you will. Give us a little bit of insight about the work, and then we'll read the proclamation. Good to see you.
Nice to see you. Thank you so much. As you know, October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and I appreciate you guys taking the time to recognize this month as that. So we're here representing Safe Haven, and Safe Haven is the local domestic violence shelter, and we cover Bullitt County as well as 5 surrounding counties. And domestic violence is a very serious issue. It affects 1 in 4 women, 1 in 7 men, and 1 in 3 teens. And that's something that our organization really works hard to address those issues that faces our community. We offer a 24-hour crisis line and safe housing, emergency shelter, assistance with getting protective orders, and so forth. All of our services are free and confidential. And we just believe as a community we can be stronger together and help everybody be safe in their homes and in their relationships.
Thank you. Any comments? No? Okay. You look so excited. All right, we want to read the proclamation as it stands. A proclamation by the Mayor and City Council of Statesboro, Georgia, honoring October 23rd as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Whereas the crime of domestic violence violates an individual's privacy, dignity, security, and humanity due to the systematic use of physical, emotional, sexual, psychological, and economic control and/or abuse. And whereas domestic violence leaves an imprint of fear and hostility. And whereas the problems of domestic violence are not confined to any group or groups of people, but across all economic, racial, affectional preference, and social barriers, thereby affecting society as a whole. And whereas in the city of Statesboro, adults and children are victims of violence each year. And whereas Statesboro City Council is committed to restoring the right to freedom from fear in our homes, and whereas Statesboro City Council is committed to restoring the right to freedom from fear in our communities. And whereas in our quest to impose sanctions on those who break the law by perpetuating violence, we must also meet the needs of victims of domestic violence and their children, who often suffer grave financial, physical, and psychological losses. And now, therefore, be it resolved that in recognition of the important work done by domestic violence programs in cooperation with Safe Haven, I, Jonathan McCollum, Mayor of the City of Statesboro, on behalf of the entire City Council, does hereby proclaim the month of October 2023 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. We urge all citizens, agencies, and businesses to work together as a team in our community through prevention, intervention, and education programs to eliminate domestic violence and become a violence-free community. Passed and adopted by the City of Statesboro the 17th day of October 2023. Congratulations. Got it? You too heavy?
One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. One, two, three. Okay.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
All right, congratulations. Good to see you. All right. We'll move down to agenda item 4, public comments. Leah, any public comments?
Not for any agenda item here.
Okay. Consideration of a motion to approve consent agenda. Approval of the minutes for our October 3rd city council minutes, as well as executive session minutes as well. Is there a motion to approve? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We'll move down to agenda item 6, which is a public hearing, consideration of a motion to approve. 6A is application AN 2308-07. S&K Investments LLC requests annexation of 2.27 acres of property located at 31010 Register Road in order to build a commercial development. And 6B is application RZ 230808. S&K Investments LLC requests a zoning map amendment from the R40, which is the single-family residential zoning district, to the MX mixed use zoning district on 2.27 acres of property located at 31070 Register Road in order to build a commercial development. Is there a motion to open the public hearing? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Ms. Kathy, if you will.
Thank you very much, Mayor. Currently, the property is a vacant land located directly across from the existing public shopping center. The applicant seeks to annex this property and rezone it to create additional commercial space connected to the existing repair shop immediately north of this property. At this time, the owner has not determined the desired tenants for the shop. And you can see the property outlined in red. We had a recent rezoning to the property to the north in the last couple of months. So this will extend this whole line all the way down. The future land use map shows this to be in the emerging business character area. The current zoning shows it to be proposed for the MX zoning district. The subject property is shown on the top left. The property to the southeast on the bottom right. The property to the northeast, which shows the public shopping center across the street. And the property to the south on the bottom right. And this essentially is a rendering of what they're going to be proposing. It's going to be obviously for commercial use. Staff does recommend approval of AN 23-0807 plus RZ 23-08-08. If this petition is approved by the Mayor and City Council, it should be subject to the applicant's agreement to the following enumerated condition. 1, approval of the zoning map amendment does not grant site and/or building plan approval as submitted. Project will be required to meet all city ordinances and applicable building codes. At the regularly scheduled meeting of the Planning Commission on October 3rd, 2023, the Commission recommended approval of the zoning map amendment and staff recommendations with a 3-0 vote. And I will bring to your attention that it was determined by our city attorney that the Planning Commission cannot weigh in on the annexation part of this application. So that is my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kevin. All right, is there anyone here to speak for this request?
Mr. Mayor and City Council, my name is John Dotson from Maxwell Redkin Associates, representing S&K Investments. As Ms. Kathy alluded, there's an existing building that's been there for a number of years. We at Royal bought the property probably 20 years ago, established a business. They have since retired. S&K bought the first 2 parcels that includes the existing building. These are 2 vacant parcels. His plan is to build a development that will be very complementary to the Publix and all that's going on in the area. I'll be glad to answer any questions you may have, and I would ask for your support.
Thank you. Is there anyone here to speak against this request? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to close the hearing? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, let's open it up for council discussion. Is there any discussion by council?
Just want to note, this is one of our first instances of the MX, the mixed use, which we just approved. That gives the developers a whole lot more flexibility. So it sounds good. Glad you're taking advantage.
Thank you. Any further discussion by council? Cindy?
Just eager to see what it's gonna be.
Seeing that there is no further discussion, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll move down to agenda item 7, which is a public hearing and consideration of a motion to approve application RZ 23-09-01. Nellie Meeks requests a zoning map amendment from the R15 single family residential to the mixed use zoning district in order to reuse a property as office space at 26 Lindbergh Street. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, Mr. Kathy, if you will give us some insight.
Thank you, sir. Currently, the property is an existing single-family home adjacent to the existing Kids World learning facility and a number of single-family homes. The applicant intends to update the zoning on the property to provide office space, as the site is also adjacent to Highway 80 East, Northside Drive East. Excuse me. So you can see the property outlined in red. And the future land use map shows this to be in the neighborhood center character area. The current zoning on this is R15, but you can see it's right next to the proposed MX area. The subject property is shown on the top left. The property to the east on the bottom right. The property to the west on the top left. And the property to the north on the bottom right. Staff does recommend approval of RZ 23-09-01. If this petition is approved by the mayor and city council, it should be subject to the applicant's agreement to the following enumerated condition. 1, approval of the zoning map amendment does not grant the right to develop on the site without approvals. All construction must be approved by the city. At the regularly scheduled meeting of the Planning Commission on October 3rd, 2023, the commission recommended approval of the zoning map amendment and staff recommendations upon a 3-0 vote. Thank you very much. That is my presentation.
All right, thank you. All right, is there anyone here to speak for this request?
My name is Nellie Meeks. I'm the owner of this property. We built that home over 50 years ago. It went commercial then because my husband established a business in the backyard. And during the time, there was a lot of businesses at this particular time. There was a kindergarten and 3 beauty shops at one little old small street there, short street there. I would like to say too that I am a resident of Bullock County, going way back to my great-grandfather. So I'm just happy to be part of this community, and I appreciate so much what y'all are doing. And I do thank you for any consideration that you have given me on this property. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Is there anyone here to speak against this request? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to close the hearing?
So,
Is there a second?
second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, any discussion by council? All right,
Ms. Ms. What type of business will you be using here?
I would like to have it for an office, and it's in a prime location because it's so close to 80, right at 80. And I feel like with the growth we're going to have in our city, that this might be essential to somebody that's moving in. Be ready for them when they come.
That's what I'm talking about.
any further discussion by council? Seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve with staff recommendations?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, Ms. Nelly.
Thank you.
All right. We move down to agenda item 8, which is a public hearing, consideration of a motion to approve application RZ 23-09-02. Hill Point LLC requests a zoning map amendment from CRPUD, which is commercial retail planned unit development. Zoning districts to the MX mixed-use zoning district in order to develop a commercial multifamily residential development on 18.56 acres located on Lubbock Road. Ms. Kathy, will you give us a little, is there a
Yes.
motion to open the public hearing? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Ms. Kathy.
Thank you. The property is currently primary vacant wooded area adjacent to both commercial development and a single-family neighborhood. There are wetlands located on the site in multiple areas, but these are not proposed for disturbance at this time. The applicant intends to build an apartment complex consisting of approximately 216 units. And the site is shown outlined in red. It's on Lovett Road, and I always use Brewster's as my point of reference, but it's across the street from Brewster's. I love it. Okay. The LA Waters Furniture Store is just to the north.
Yeah.
Okay, so the future land use map shows this is to be an activity center, regional center character area. The future zoning, and this was past zoning, it was zoned originally for a PUD and then for, I guess it was office across the street because now it's converted into mixed use per our new zoning ordinance. Let's see. So the subject property is shown on the top left. Property to the north, which shows the LA Waters Furniture, is to the north, which is shown on the bottom right. More property, because it was so long, we took 2 pictures of it. So this is the property as it looks to the southern end. And then the property to the east is shown on the bottom right. And this essentially shows, next slide, their concept plan. So you can see the apartment complex. And we are concerned about the fact that it's near a single-family development on it would be on the west side. And so we felt that some additional buffering would be necessary to buffer those single-family residences. So we did recommend approval of RZ 23-0902. If this petition is approved by the Marion City Council, it should be subject to the applicant's agreement to the following enumerated conditions. 1, approval of the zoning map amendment does not grant the right to develop on the site without approvals. All construction must be approved by the city. 2, due to the proposed density, the applicant must provide a traffic impact analysis for the proposed project in regard to the issuance of the land disturbance permit. 3, additional buffering may be required on the northwest boundary so as to minimize the impact on the single-family homes on this boundary. At the regularly scheduled meeting of the Planning Commission on October 3rd, 2023, the Commission recommended approval of the zoning map amendment with staff recommendations upon a 3-0 vote. That is my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kate. Is there anyone here to speak for this request?
Good evening. My name is Marcus Wiedauer, and I represent Hill Point. We are a workforce housing development company. We do one thing, we do it very well. We have a widget. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, dual master apartment. We do that very specifically because we target the young professional, the nurses, the police officers, the teachers that need places to live, that they appreciate living in, that they have the amenities of what most people would consider seeing in a luxury type environment. We have a clubhouse, a business center, a cafe, doggy spas. We have resort style pools on the back side of the clubhouse. Literally, we extend the overhang so that there's little cabanas that get created so you can sit by the pool. This is all done under the federal guidelines of affordable housing, which is 80 to 120% of AMI. Okay, so we do this without any subsidies. We don't come and ask for tax breaks. We look for properties that are in need of this. This is significantly surrounded by commercial property. We recognize and appreciate the staff's recommendation of additional buffering in the back. We're happy to accommodate that. We're happy to accommodate the traffic study that will be necessary, and anything that comes with that, we are happy to pay for. Again, that's very simply what we do. I will stand for any questions. I love talking about our company. What we're doing in the Southeast right now is much needed, as people know. We are filling a gap between luxury living and properties that have not had any capital put into them in over 30 years. So it's something we're very proud of. We like this site in particular. Far enough away from the college, we may get some college students, don't know, but that's not what we chase. We want to put product on the market the young professional can afford and utilize and be able to get ahead. One of the things we do to be part of the community, it was neat seeing the officers earlier today. We actually, any law enforcement officer that wants to live with us, that parks a cruiser there at night, we'll offer them half rent. Okay, so those are the types of things that we want to do so that people feel safe in our communities and that we're giving back to the communities that we're building. But with that, like I said, I'm happy to answer anything. I'll be here all night if you want me to.
Well, we're going to open it up. We have another part to go to, but if the council has any discussion, they'll call it back up.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Is there anyone here to speak against this request? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to close the hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we want to open it up for council discussion. Council, is there any discussion?
I'll just confess, Mayor, that I was chided by our legal attorney, city attorney, who reminded me that we get to make decisions based on the applicability of the property to the use that's requested, and that it's not appropriate for me or anybody else to ask questions about what all they intend to put there. As long as it's within the guidelines of that zoning, that's all we can vote on. So, but I'm happy for folks to volunteer, and I appreciate Mr. Marcus, you telling us, because this sounds like a really much needed and wonderful place, particularly with Miss Cassie and Justin and others looking out for the folks on Simmons Road who are going to be very different in their backyards because they've had all those woods behind them. So I appreciate the city looking out for keeping some buffering and making it still nice for the people already there. So I don't think I have any other questions. It sounds good. We need more nice apartments and half rent for the police officers. Sounds wonderful.
I'm surprised we're not hearing them come back up.
Well, we got you over there, sir. Absolutely. Any further discussion by council?
Yeah, my only question is on Northside Drive, where would the entrance be? Like,
It's not north side, it's
Okay.
on Lovett between
So,
the grocery store and Brewster's.
And Brandon Street.
okay, right across from
Lovely.
Brewster.
Right across the street, right
Okay, so
behind LA
Lion?
Waters.
Okay. But still, even over there, where is the entrance gonna be? Like, how would you?
Well,
One of the requirements is that there be a traffic study done, and part of that traffic study would determine if they'll need a right turn lane in or a left turn lane, and where the driveway should go. Okay.
Any further discussion by council? Seeing that there is none, is there a motion to close the hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Feel like we already did that. Is there a motion to vote?
So moved.
Okay, is there a second?
Approved, yes.
Approved. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. All right, we move down to agenda item 9, which is a public hearing consideration of a motion to approve application sub 23-09-03, Tim Stone request preliminary subdivision plan approval on approximately 11.54 acres of property in order to develop a townhouse subdivision of approximately 93 units on West Side Road. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, Kathy, if you give us some insight.
Okay, this application, as well as the next one, are for properties that have already been rezoned. And so this is phase 2, which is the subdivision preliminary plat approval process, which you have to approve when it's anything over four or more lots, okay? Pardon me. So, anyway, on to this application. This property is currently a vacant 11.54 acre lot located on West Side Road. The parcel is located in an area of high proposed development that includes Bryant's Landing Senior Housing Development, the existing in the Grove subdivision, and the proposed single-family attached subdivision to the north near the existing Quail Run subdivision. The applicant intends to develop 90 units of townhomes and a connector road to the north of the subdivision. So the property in question is the property on the right of these two parcels, okay? And this is right along West Side Drive is to the south. Future land use map shows this to be in an established residential neighborhood. And again, we're talking about the parcel on the right, outlined in red. The current zoning map shows it to be zoned to the R2 Townhome Zoning District. The subject property is shown on the top left, property to the east on the bottom right, property to the west on the top left, and the property to the south on the bottom right. So here is the proposed townhome development concept plan, and you can see it's really to the north, on the right side, there is a provision that this project be connected to the project immediately to the north, which was recently zoned for R6 single-family homes. Okay, so that there will, in essence, the main entrance, the main exit egress will be on West Side Road, but because there's a connector road, it will offer the opportunity for those single-family homes to have 3 different means of egress. Staff recommends approval of SUB 23-0903. Pardon me. If this petition is approved by the mayor and city council, it should be subject to the applicant's agreement to the following enumerated conditions. 1, approval of this preliminary subdivision plat does not grant site and/or building plan approval as submitted. Project will be required to meet all city ordinances and applicable building codes. 2, the applicant must adhere to all recommended zoning determinations as provided by the original zoning map amendment of the property. 3, the proposed stub road must be constructed in accordance with the submitted subdivision plat and meet all requirements for street dedication upon completion of the street network. At the regularly scheduled meeting of the Planning Commission on October 3rd, 2023, the Commission recommended approval of the preliminary plat and staff recommendations upon a 3-0 vote. That is my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there anyone here to speak for this request?
Hey everyone, I'm Evan Bennett with S.E.G. Bell, here to represent the property owner. You just saw this not too long ago for rezoning. But if you have any further questions on what the plans are for the development, I'll be happy to answer any questions you've got. The plan is for public water and sewer and public streets. The layout that we've provided is in accordance with all of the regulations in the current ordinance. Again, if there's any questions, we'll be happy to answer. Thank you.
Is there anyone here to speak against the request?
We have some concerns. Can I come up with? Mayor and Councilman, my name is Laurie Bess, and I am a resident of Quail Run subdivision, and that's why I'm concerned. This is Mr. Julius Trimble, who is also a resident. Now, my concern is, number one, Timber Road. All right, Timber Road comes into Quail Run, quiet neighborhood. Now, if there is going to be an entrance for Quail Run, then that's going to disrupt our neighborhood. And you can see I'm a senior citizen. And of course, we have been there for 30 to 40 years. My question is, what provision is going to be provided so that coming into Timber Road will not disrupt our nice neighborhood? We don't want the police to be coming over there like I heard earlier, because we have a nice, comfortable neighborhood. My question is, if item 9 and 10 are these the same entity, then why can't there, and I don't know anything about architect and roads, why can't an entrance be where they do not have Timber Road as one of their main entrance when you have all that land on the west side where a road could just come there and leave us alone? That's my concern.
And I don't know if that's the plaque I see, but I've seen another plaque where they're gonna do another entrance road off Stockyard Road, coming into that subdivision, versus West Side Road, versus connected into Timber Road.
Okay.
And my concern is, these two, are they the plaque I've seen seems like this is one unit, one joint development. Is this two different developments?
Okay. And we're going to direct your questions towards the DSC, and then we're going to ask.
Okay, that's what, is this one development, or is this two different developments? And if so, I have no option, we need houses, but can we alleviate Timber Road off the entrance and the exit of this new development? Because our parcels of land is vast more in size versus what they're proposing to build, so therefore you're gonna create a whole different climate in that area. And as Ms. Beth indicated to, the noise level, the interference, the turbulence, we don't have that now. And it would be greatly a shame to create it. Yeah.
And another thing, no sign was put up in Quail Run entrance or nothing. We missed that October 3rd meeting. We didn't know. One of our neighbors happened to have been driving near the old Julia P. Bryant and saw a sign and sent it to some of us.
Okay.
But why? I mean, there was no sign put out. We didn't know anything unless we would have gone to the planning meeting also. Our concern is, don't disrupt our neighborhood. We are 90, at least 85 to 90% senior citizen. Fine with the Six houses, that's fine, nothing wrong with that. And as he said, we need houses with the folks that are coming in. But make provision, put a buffer or something so they could go into their subdivision and leave us alone. Please, that's all we ask.
And so staff, you hear the concerns. Help give us some insight into the concerns.
Well, I think their concerns are more addressed with item number 10, which is the. Yes, and so, if you remember, that was originally, the proposal came in for townhomes. And then we worked with the developer to get them to put an R6 single-family development there. And so when we get to item 10, and I think maybe we're just a little too early here, I'll show you, we have 3 roads that will be utilized for that R6 development, which is we're going to be approving or reviewing the preliminary plat subdivision this evening, okay? So maybe I can wait until 10 and I can show it to you. Okay.
Long as we know we get the answer for.
Yes.
I think they were trying to figure out if they were together.
Yeah.
So to answer a question, they are separate.
They are separate, that's right. But that's why this connector road is important, because it will provide a third means of egress.
Yeah.
Because there'll be Starkyard Road, Timber Road, and then West Side Road. So we've made it as a requirement that they connect these 2 roads as one. And I'll show it to you in the next go round, okay?
All right. If y'all would give us, be patient with us while we go through the process. Okay. All right, thank you. Anyone else speak for or against the project? Okay, with that being said, is the motion to close the hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Is there, we want to open up for council discussion, any council discussion?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Oh, I'm sorry, somebody else.
Go ahead, I'll go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So we rezoned this, and no, we're not doing that now. We've already made it R2 for this one. This is going to be townhomes. Were these rezoned, amended in time that they're subject to all of our townhomes about amenities and green space?
Yes. So that will be included within this, yes.
Good.
Okay.
Just want to be sure of that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, I was just trying, for my clarity, you were saying something about 3 connecting roads.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, that's what's in the So I have no questions on this one.
I just want clarity as well. We will be able to answer those questions after we vote on this. Is this vote going to interrupt or affect the questions that they have?
Yeah.
So Kathy, just so we provide some level of comfort, this first development, this is the town hall.
This is the R2. Yes.
Okay, so that this development is not connecting into the single family.
No, the only place it connects is that connector road, and if we can move on, well, when you all vote, then I'll get to 10.
We'll take care of it 10.
Okay, very good.
Council, any further questions? Any other concerns?
Mr. Mayor, I'm not sure I'm clear. So the connector road that's proposed would connect it to that gated division that's on the corner? Where's the one that we are approving with this? Connects to where? To them where they don't want it, or to the gated division?
It connects to the property directly to the north, which we have rezoned for R6, which is 6,000 square foot, single family residential lot.
So that would be Timber Road.
No.
Yes.
That's the single family.
That's the single family one that's coming up next, which you've rezoned. It was originally
Yeah, I remember.
to be
R2.
That's right. And then they changed it to an R6 because the neighborhood's concerned. And so we thought that would be a much more appropriate use.
Right.
So that's where we are. So
It was on R6, and the developer wanted to come back and go to R2. And that's where staff said we would not recommend R2. And it was on the planning board agenda. And what happened is the developer withdrew that R2 because they knew we weren't going to be recommended. And so typically you would not, the townhomes, you would not have connected to a single family residence. Connecting one single family residence to another single family residence, and just tell you, from a public safety standpoint and from a development standpoint, typically we like to connect single family developments for a couple of reasons. You do that because of safety concerns. You have police and fire. It's not necessarily that they're going to be the houses, the folks that are going to live there are going to be rowdy, but just from good planning, you like to have neighborhoods to be connected. And that's why typically when you see a subdivision, you'll see a street is stubbed out. And so that when the next development comes that matches that development, you connect to that stubbed out street so you continue the pattern. But it's there for it's there for infrastructure as well. Because we put our water and sewer in and we put it in public rights of way so that we connect the two and we have loop ways so that if we have service interruptions, we can bring water in another way. And so, but part of what we try to do is connect single family developments to other single family developments. And that's what.
Yeah, and so we worked really hard with the two separate owners in order to get them to agree to connect this road. Because we really felt that West Side Road was certainly more able to handle the traffic that would emanate from both of these developments, actually. And it gives us an extra means of egress as well as access. So now that there are three, that there will be three. And when I get to number 10, I'll show it to you.
Okay. My clarification, the corner of Stockyard Road and West Side Road, there's a development there already in gated community. And then
Yes,
there's
that's the
this
growth.
wooded tract that we're going to look at next, and then the wooded tract that we're talking about now. So there's like two wooded places we're talking about. These are two new developments that we're approving the first of, which is the furthest from the corner. So the road that we're talking about now is just going to connect it into the new proposed single family. It's we're not yet dealing with the Quail Run folks at all.
That is correct.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, and I'll show you on the map.
So, any further discussion by council? All right. Is there a motion to approve the staff recommendations?
So
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, moving down to agenda item 10, which is a public hearing and consideration of a motion to approve application sub 23-09-04. Mr. Ball requests preliminary subdivision plat approval on approximately 32.6 acres of property in order to develop a single-family detached subdivision of approximately 90 units on Temple Road in Stockyard. Is there a motion to open the public hearing? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Kathy, if you would.
Yes. The property is currently a vacant lot located off of both Stockyard and Timber Roads. The property is to the north of both the Ingrove subdivision, the proposed townhouse subdivision, which we just talked about in number 9, as noted by SUB 23-09-03, and to the south of the Quail Run subdivision. The property owner intends to develop a single-family detached residential subdivision of 84 units as depicted in the associated drawings. So you can see that West Side Road is along the bottom, and the number 9 was the parcel just running off to the north of West Side Road. Now this parcel is immediately to the north of that, and this was a parcel that was rezoned to the R6. And you can see The future land use map shows this to be in an established residential neighborhood character area. The current zoning is the R6, as mentioned. And the subject property is on the top left. The property to the north is on the bottom right. Property to the southeast, which shows the Julia Pre-Bryant School, is on the top left. And the property to the northeast is on the bottom right. Now this shows the preliminary plat. And you can see at the very top on the left, that's the connection to Timber Road. The access on the right side is the connection to Stockyard Road. And then at the very bottom, heading south, you can see the connection of that road that would go all the way down through the proposed townhouse development to West Side Road. So there are 3 entrances and exits for this development.
Is that it, Kevin?
My recommendation, staff recommends approval of SUB 23-0904. If this petition is approved by the mayor and city council, it should be subject to the applicant's agreement to the following enumerated conditions. 1, approval of this preliminary subdivision plat does not grant the site and/or building plan approval as submitted. Project will be required to meet all city ordinances and applicable building codes. 2, the applicant must adhere to all recommended zoning determinations as provided by the original zoning map amendment of the property. 3, the proposed stub road must be constructed in accordance with the submitted subdivision plat and meet all requirements for street dedication upon completion of the street network. At the regularly scheduled meeting of the Planning Commission on October 3rd, 2023, the Commission recommended approval of the preliminary plat and staff recommendations upon a 3-0 vote. That is my presentation. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Kevin. Is there anyone here to speak for this request?
Evan Bennett, SCA Bell again. So we are representing this owner as well as the owner who is trying to develop the property to the south. And yes, we have been working with both developers to establish this direct connection to West Side Road for this single-family development. To try to ease some concerns about traffic in Quail Run, your 2 main attractors, your 2 main outlets to this development are Stockyard Road and West Side Road. Williams Road doesn't really lead to anywhere significant that people are most likely going to be traveling. I'm not saying that there will not be any traffic going through Quail Run with this road connected, but I believe it's going to be pretty relatively low volume. Again, with this development, we are proposing public utilities and public roadways. The developer is proposing actually somewhat larger lots than code requires. So I think the original layout had 97 lots. We're showing 84 at this point. So we felt like that's going to be a little bit better fit for this development. And we're proposing a traffic study that's going to include both of these developments so that we can address any infrastructure needs on West Side Road and Stockyard Road that this may necessitate. Any questions? I'm happy to answer.
We'll do it on council discussion.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, is there anyone here to speak against this request?
Again, I'm concerned about Quail Run. Now, I don't know about roads and stuff, but I do have common sense. Okay, you got townhouses. Then you have R6. How do you think those R6 folks gonna feel connected with these townhouses? This is what we kicked on when they wanted to put the townhouses there. So, I mean, to me, it doesn't make sense. Because if I'm buying a home, and then later on, they put townhouses, And this is the same company. Now, we're not stupid. This is the same company that came forth before. They came under Ball Construction. Now they come under Mitchell Ball. Now, I'm pretty wise. I have wisdom. So you all are going to affect our community. And I would like for the mayor and the council to please look at these two projects. We would have been at that October 3rd meeting to object, but somehow somebody didn't put the signs where we could see. I hope it wasn't done intentionally, but I'm thinking. Okay?
Thank you. Anybody else speak for or against?
I'm Marcia Twiggs, and I'm concerned about the traffic on Stockyard Road. In addition to widening that road or putting a sidewalk or ditch there. Now, if we're gonna put the townhouses in that area as well as single-family homes, you got an increase in traffic. I am about to be 70 years old. As I stand now, I have to step in the road to get my mail. And you're gonna dump more traffic on that road. And there are several people in my community, Stockyard Road, William Road, Loretha Street, they walk in the morning. And they have to walk through my yard to make the connection around that little area in which they walk. So I'm concerned about the traffic on Stockyard Road, adding more traffic on Stockyard Road, a ditch that is getting wider and wider in front of my house. And then there goes more traffic. So I'm not so much in opposition to the plan, but I'm concerned about the safety in that area.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right. That being said, is there a motion to close the hearing? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. I want to open it up for council discussion. Any discussion by council?
Yeah. Yeah, I have a couple of things I kind of already addressed with staff. We actually sat down with the members of this community, and it was indicated that a sign would be placed in front of Timber Road. That did not take place. So I'm really ticked off about that because somewhere the ball got dropped, and this is just not the time for the ball to be dropped. It may have been a simple oversight. I can accept that, but sometimes a simple oversight can cause a lot of difficulties. So that sign, because I rode through there to see myself, that sign was supposed to be placed in front of Timber Road. That was what was agreed on. The staff was there with that community, so that was a drop of ball on the city's behalf, and I do apologize for that. Secondly, is there a way that, because the members of the community, they're not opposed to the housing coming. None of them are opposed to the housing coming, and I'm very gracious for that. But is there a way that the entrance and the exit doesn't have to run through Timber Road?
Okay.
Because that is the only issue at this point.
Yes.
And you said that there were 3 places of entrance and exits.
Right.
You got 3 of them. You can cut out one. You don't need 3. You can cut one of those out.
Okay, so the challenge with that is there's no guarantee that the West Side Road development is going to happen because it is a different developer that is looking at this property. So if that does not happen, then there's no connection to West Side Road, and now you're stuck with just one entrance into this development, which is not allowed by the city's requirements. From a public safety standpoint, you're required to have at least 2.
Okay. So can it be reconfigured in another manner that will allow for it to have another entrance?
Where would it be?
Yeah, there's just a very small area along Stockyard Road that this connects to the public right of way. So really, this is the only opportunity for that secondary entrance.
So there's no guarantee that the other property is going to be developed. What about a conversation about an easement or anything along those lines for that property?
We could have those discussions. And I can't speak for the owner on forfeiting 4 potential lots on their development by eliminating this connection to Timber Road. Because this is their decision as far as the financial impact of losing lots goes.
Yeah.
So all I can say is it's possible that we could establish an easement to connect to West Side Road. But like I said, we do work with both of the developers, so that's a potential option.
Yeah.
But again, I don't know if the developer of the single family development is going to be willing to sacrifice 4 lots.
What now?
So there's along the connection to Timber Road, there are 4 lots that would not be accessible without that connection. So they would be forfeit.
You look at this one, where you get to Timber Road, that would be access to 4 developments in this UR6.
The Timber Road piece, can you point to it? Can you get the pointer?
Can you, no, further up. Keep going, right at the top left, up in the top left, right there. Right there. So, and I guess this is a question for Chief Tim. Would the fire department accept a gate so that if there was an emergency, that the fire truck could come through with a gated
Access gate through Timber?
Right.
Emergency only?
Right. Is that something that the fire department would find acceptable, Chief?
I mean, we'd have to break through the
Yeah, I don't know. I can look into that, but without having plans and information, I don't. We have done that before. I'll put it that way.
Okay.
So it's not outside the realm of possibility.
And that would only be for emergency vehicles.
I will say this though. Anytime we get over 80 units, the second entrance is required. So I mean, we have to have at least 2 entrances.
Okay. So let's just finish.
There are other traffic calming things that can be done that sometimes will discourage folks from using, and I've never been a person to care about speed humps, but in our community, it's not as we don't have snow, so it's not as big a deal. If you put in humps, that would tend to push people the other way, so that they don't have to deal with those speed humps. So that's another way. I do want to address one thing, Ms. Chambers. The fact that, and I need to speak for my staff, and I know there was some conversation, but I want to assure the resident there, it was not intentional that the sign was not put in place. So I'm the city manager, so I accept full responsibility for that. But staff did not intentionally not put that sign there. There was a miscommunication, so I accept responsibility and I apologize to you.
Okay, you owe us all dinner.
I'll invite you to my house, I'll cook for you. Mayor and council, can we just do this? And I'll just say this: if y'all, there's nothing that says this has to be decided tonight. If you could just give us, and we can do it at the second meeting in November. Just give us that time and let us look at options, and we'll bring it back to you.
That's what I believe.
Yeah, so we're gonna table this for tonight, and then please help us out, okay? And let's see what we can do, okay?
But I would like, and I'll say this to staff and to the residents of Pueblo, I think it's important to have some conversations because there are some other added benefits that we're looking at between that single-family development and Quail Run. And so, and it incurs some infrastructure. And that we're looking at. So I think we need to have a conversation.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to have conversations and let them make the decision. Okay. With that being said, is there a motion to table item 10 until the second meeting in November? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We move down to agenda item 11, which is a public hearing consideration of motion to approve an application for an alcohol license in accordance with the City of Statesboro Alcohol Ordinance, Section 6-13A, Family Dollar, number 30436, 20 Veterans Memorial Plaza, Statesboro, Georgia 30458, license type package sales beer and wine. Is there a motion to open the public hearing? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Kathy?
No issue, Mayor.
All right. Chief?
No issue.
Chief?
No issue, Mayor.
Kane?
No issues, Mayor.
All right. Is there anyone here to speak for the request? Is there anyone here to speak against the request? All right. Seeing that there is none, is there a motion to close the hearing? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Let us open it up for council discussion. Any discussion by council?
Mr. Mayor, I guess I don't buy beer and wine. Do Family Dollars normally sell beer and wine? I haven't paid attention. I mean, they can, and I don't see any objection. Are the other Family Dollar stores here do too? I was
Not here in town, I don't think. I don't
Might be the first one.
really in town. Yeah, it's one of them. Oh.
What store that is? Yeah. Goodness. Just interested, just curious. I have no objection.
All right. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll move down to agenda item 12, which is the second reading, consideration of a motion to approve ordinance 2023-16, ordinance amending chapter 38, article 7, black tax of Statesboro Code of Ordinances. Kane, if you will, give us some insight.
Mayor and Council, this is before y'all today's second reading of the Community Redevelopment Tax Incentive Program. That's the blight tax ordinance. It's authorized under state law. Essentially, it provides a mechanism and an administrative procedure for designating properties as being blighted, and that if they are deemed to be blighted, they are subjected to a higher rate of taxation unless and until the blighted condition is remediated, and then at that point, they do receive a 50% break on the on their tax bill for 3 years after remediation has been determined. The applicability of this blight tax is to all properties in the city of Statesboro with two major exceptions. One is any residence that is occupied is not subject to that blighted designation. The other part is that no detached single-family units, whether they are occupied or unoccupied, would be eligible for blighted designation or subjected to increased taxation. I've written this ordinance so that in 38-162, the factor that is to be multiplied to properties that are designated as blighted will be contained in our schedule of rates, fines, and fees, which will be coming before y'all, I believe, next month. And we would put whatever designation whatever guidance y'all give us, we would go ahead and put that in the draft. But if y'all have any questions on it, I think we've gone over this.
All right, thank you, Ken. Any discussion by council? Seeing that there's none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll move down to agenda item 13, consideration of a motion to approve an amendment to the service delivery strategy to create wastewater services area for the city of Brooklyn. Mr. Penny, if you will.
Mayor, members of the council, we shared with you that the city of Brooklyn, town of Brooklyn, wanted to buy sewer capacity property. We already have an IGA in place between the city of Statesboro and Brooklyn. However, in order to move to the next step, we need to get the SDS approved by us, by Bullock County, and by Brooklyn. So Nikki Gwinnett is here, council member from Brooklyn. And so I assume the county approved the SDS this morning.
Yes, sir.
And so since we are the county seat that does require our approval, basically, and we've discussed this with y'all a number of times, what we're agreeing to is that we're going to provide them 300,000, up to 300,000 gallons a day of capacity in our waste treatment plant. And what this will allow them to do is to connect their sewer system to our sewer system. The sewer system is sorely needed in Brooklyn. In that commercial district, they have businesses that are now paying monthly to have their septic tank cleaned out. And this way, we'll be able to provide that capacity to them. And plus, Brooklyn is poised to see quite a bit of development, single family development as well. And so we're pleased to recommend to you approval of the SDS. This is only for the Brooklyn wastewater treatment. We're still in discussion with Bullock County on the water and sewer systems for the rest of the county. But this is for Brooklyn, and we do recommend it.
All right, thank you, Mr. Penny. Any discussion by council? As said, there's no discussion, is there a motion to approve? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? All right, we move on to agenda item 14, which is the consideration of a motion to authorize the mayor to execute a memorandum of understanding between the city of Statesboro and Common Behavioral Health and Development Disabilities for Transit Vouchers. Mr. Penny.
Mayor, again, you laid it out. Pineland has a grant that they're going to be able to provide 760 vouchers to people to use our transit system. We are seeing our numbers grow on a monthly basis, and we believe it's a good thing, and we recommend approval.
All right, thank you, Mr. Penny. Any discussion by council?
Yes, please. Mr. Penny, I agree, it's a great thing, we need to take advantage. But I'm not understanding some of the language about the $5, $1. Can you help me? Is that administrative or?
And I don't know that I can take, but it is something that's going to keep you from deciding to approve the agreement later. Can we provide that to you later?
You can provide it later. Thank you.
We'll do that later. We'll provide it all.
All right, thank you, Mr. Penny. Thank you, Councilwoman Vaughn. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we move on to agenda item 15, consideration of motion to award a contract for professional right-of-way services of the East Main Street Sidewalk Improvement Project to Tennille Valuation and Consulting Services LLC in the amount of $32,000. The project will be paid from 2018 T-SPLOST funds. Mr. Penny, any further insight you can give us on that?
We recommend approval here.
All right, thank you, Mr. Penny. Any discussion by council? Seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, moving on to agenda item 16, which is consideration of a motion to approve a water sewer agreement with Ecoplastics America Corporation for 78.4 acres located at 4800 U.S. Highway 301 South, registered 30452, Georgia property tax number 049 000220000. Mr. Penny.
Mayor and council, this is one of the suppliers for Hyundai. I think this is the second supplier. I think June, Georgia was the first one. This being the second supplier. And they're going to be getting water and sewer services from us. And so we're required, they are required to have an agreement with us for the water and sewer services, and that's what this is for. And we do recommend approval.
All right, thank you, Mr. Penny. Any discussion by council? Seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll move down to agenda item 17, other business from city council.
I wanted to just highlight that on October the 30th, the Business Commission will be having a small business listening session. So if you are a business owner here in Statesboro, feel free to come out so that we can hear your concerns.
Okay, thank you, Councilwoman Matt. Any further discussion from council? All right, I do want to take a point of privilege in this area to commend the citizens of Statesboro this past Sunday as they stood up against gun violence in our community. It was a very beautiful experience, and we definitely want the entire community to join us as we work towards making our community safer. The other thing I do want to highlight, I want to thank Demetrius Vines, Olympia, and LaSalle for the work that they did with the with Village Builders and the Youth Commission and those host organizations that hosted the Family Resource Day over at the Boys and Girls Club. That was a beautiful event. I'm quite sure we had some great numbers come through there. I know it was extremely busy while I was there. So we definitely want to extend our gratitude for the work that you're doing in the community to help it be a better place for all our young people and their families. And we'll move down now to our city manager's comments.
Mayor, to your point about the Village Builders, our numbers represented over 400 attendees for that event.
Wow.
So
that's beautiful.
Yeah. A couple of things I just wanted to mention to you. Earlier today, we had a presentation from Chief Mike in reference to the enhanced incentives for recruitment for the police department. You don't vote during those sessions. However, Mayor and Council, for the amount of money that we are offering for incentives, I do think it's important to get the city council to approve the expenditures. And what we're talking about for police officers, we are talking about for police officers with no experience, increasing the sign-in bonus to $2,500, and again, that's net. We are also trying to entice certified police officers to come work for us, and the benefit to that is if we don't have to put them through the academy, we save a lot of money. And then the other thing, with 17 openings, it takes us almost a year to get an untrained person really good on the street. But if we can get certified police officers, that will cut down orientation time, get them on the street much sooner. We're recommending a hiring bonus of $5,000 for people with 3 to 5 years of experience. And then we're also recommending a sign-in bonus of $10,000 for people with more than 5 years of experience. And with that being the case, and we also have recruitment bonuses for people in the department that can bring us certified and uncertified folks. With that, I do want to make 2 points. Councilmember Williams did make contact and wanted to say that he supported the package that was presented. Councilmember Riggs is out ill, otherwise he would be here, and he wanted to stress that he supports these recommended enhanced recruitment efforts. And that, I would just ask that the mayor and council, if y'all would consider approving that action so that we have it on the record.
Any discussion by council?
I just had a question really quick, Chief. So anyone, let's just say someone was in the academy 1 to 2 years, they would get the 25?
I'm sorry, say that again?
So for the 5,000, it's 3 to 5 years of experience, but let's say someone was a police officer and they had 1 to 2 years experience, they would fall under the 25.
That's correct. And the reason for that is that there's a state law that when a person gets hired and goes to the academy, if they switch to another police department in Georgia within 2 years, that agency has to pay, the new agency has to pay all the training fees back to the original agency. Mm-hmm. Our training fees usually what we charge around $40,000 to $50,000. Okay. And so we're probably not going to pay those. So we're looking for people to just pass that time.
Okay.
Yeah, I have one other question, please, sir. So folks, if we are able to attract, Chief, if we are able to attract seasoned officers who are willing to come to Statesboro, we would have the, 5 years plus and earn the $10,000 sign-on bonus, do they still get it if they come and for some reason don't like Statesboro and leave, or is there some time period?
Thank you, President. I meant to cover that in the presentation. We're working with an attorney in town here who does civil litigation. She is drawing up a contract for us, and we expect those folks to have to sign a contract for 3 years. If they choose to leave before the 3 years is out, then they would owe us all of that money back, and then we would have the reason we chose a local attorney to do a civil litigation is so that she could back that up by suing them to get that money back.
It won't happen, but it's good to be fair. Thank you.
All right, any further discussion by council? All right, with that being said, is there a motion to move forward with the recommendation from staff? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. We'll move down to. Oh, go ahead, you got more?
Not really. Okay. To go along with that, we will be coming back to you when we get the numbers on the pay for public safety. And again, we do recommend moving forward with the implementation of the pay plan for police, and I would say public safety effective January 1st. And so we'll be coming back to you with that information, but wanted to get that on the record as well, that is something that y'all support.
Yeah.
Let's move it forward.
Thank you. Anything else?
Yeah.
All right, we go down to public comments. I know we had two individuals signed up. The first person that we have is Mrs. Twiggs. Ms. Twiggs, if you will come forward, please.
And I come before the council asking them about what can be done about the ditch in front of my house. And not so much in front of my house, but in our community. In 2018, I came, and y'all told me to come back. In 2018, that ditch was widened 2 to 3 feet wider. And it was dug, I think, about 7 feet, according to the engineer. And I was told, I asked if we could put a sidewalk out there, and I think the study came back and said it cost $400,000 just to cover that little stretch. So now I come before the council asking you to please cover that ditch. It is getting, the drop off from the road is getting less space to pull over. If somebody have to come off that road right quick, they're in the ditch.
Okay.
And hopefully they won't land in my house. In my neighborhood, there are older people in my neighborhood. One young man who is about 75, he walks to the store. And he walks on the side of the road with all the traffic, and I constantly see him stopping. So I told him, I said, instead of walking on the side of the road, just walk through my yard for your safety. There was a young man at the nursing home, heavyset man, and he was walking. He walks on the side of the road, pushes his wheelchair, he goes so far, and he said, and then he goes, continue going down to the store. So I told him, instead of walking on the side of the road, just come through my yard. So for our safety, I'm asking if you will please consider covering that ditch. And again, every day I have to step in the road, watch for the traffic, hope that nobody hit me as I try to retrieve my mail. So I ask if you will please consider or come up with some kind of way in which that ditch can be covered. The people in my neighborhood can walk safely because they do walk in the morning and they have to walk in the road. So that's my request to the council, to see what can be done about covering that ditch.
Okay. Thank you. All right.
Could we ask what the street is?
It's on Stockyard. It's on the corner of Stockyard. It's on Stockyard Road. My house is on Stockyard Road. But Loretha Street runs into that road, and also it connects in that little area. And also down Stockyard Road, there's a little ravine there. So, we have no place to walk other than in the ditch.
And I know we've been out there a time or two to take a look at it. Jason, I'm gonna lean on you.
Yes, sir.
I know we've been out there a time or two, and I know that the ditch is a part of a greater system. I guess we need to kind of do a sidebar to kind of find out, what can be done in that area to help alleviate this.
I can have Jason out. Put some pipes there, put some dirt over it, cover the ditch. There is no water running through there. Believe you, there's no water flowing through that ditch.
Okay.
last week or a couple of weeks when we had all that rain.
Yeah.
I went out to see if there was water in it. There's no water.
No one. Jason, what were you about to say something? Mr. Penny, you was about to say something.
We are looking, it would be very difficult just to do that one ditch. So we are looking at programming that in our CIP, but the more that road develops, the road itself is going to require significant improvements. Because as the traffic and as population grows, we're going to be carrying a lot more traffic. And it's a busy road now.
Yes, it is.
So we're looking at putting it in our CIP with those T-Splot funds in order to, but it wouldn't just be that ditch, it would be the whole length of the road.
The whole length of the road.
Yes.
Okay.
I can't tell you when, because
Okay.
you
No,
won't want it tomorrow. But we will, when we look at the CIP, you're gonna see it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, good deal.
I got one question, man. So when we gonna look at CIP?
You don't look at every retreat. You look at
March.
It's March.
So you hear that?
Yeah, and I was just gonna ask when she
Yeah.
asked what, when, but please look at it before somebody get killed on that road. It's dangerous.
Yeah.
It is really dangerous.
We know. I
$40,000 is a lot of money, but a life is much more than $400,000. $400,000.
It is. All right, thank you. All right, next on the agenda, we have Marcus 2.
I have 3 items, all 3 are positive, and hopefully all 3 are short. First, I want to commend the City of Statesboro, City of Brooklet, and Bullitt County for linking the sewer systems. The cost of housing is probably going to go up no matter what, given all the growth that's coming to the area. But it is a cumulative picture. No one entity is immune to the overall effect. And that allows higher density housing between Statesboro and Brooklet, and also in Brooklet, which is huge. It's huge for the cost of housing everywhere. It's probably just especially huge for the cost of housing in Brooklet, because without higher density housing in that vicinity, as you get more big houses on big tracts of land, between the taxes and property values, the housing in Brooklet could become unaffordable to a lot of the current residents in Brooklet. So I think this is a very good thing for all 3 communities. Also, y'all have on your desk little buses that advertise the Statesboro Transit, the bus system, and so and there's a QR code that tells people how to get there. I have a few more with me, as well as some cards. But we're also going. We put a bunch of these out at the parade, but we're also going to be canvassing some of the neighborhoods over the next, putting that out in a little goodie bag. And so that's another good thing. And a final good thing, I just want to tell y'all, I think I've mentioned this before, but Habitat for Humanity, our affiliate, is one of maybe only 1 or 2 affiliates that package USDA loans. And if you want to get a loan through the USDA system, in order to get one in a timely manner, you have to go through a packager. And when we applied to do that, there were 0 in the state of Georgia. So you actually could not get a USDA loan in Georgia at the time without it taking about a year to do it. So we are offering that service with other Habitat affiliates in Bullitt County first, but people in Bullitt County. So that is a service that we're now offering.
Thank you. We appreciate you guys. All right. All right. Now we'll move down to agenda item 20.
Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry, I forgot two things. May I say now, please?
Go right ahead.
I just wanted to thank the fire department for the blips, the smoke alarm blips. They got about,
That's right.
I've forgotten 40 or something.
Yeah.
So that many households are that much safer now because this fire department came and installed a free smoke alarm. So that's wonderful. And I want to call attention to the fact that we have another Recycle Fest coming up November 18th. So mark your calendars. We have shred events and lots of good things going on at the Recycle Fest November 18th. Thank you.
Good.
I just want to remind everybody to, if you live in District 2, please go out and cast your vote. Early voting has already started, so you have until November the 3rd. Go right there to the Bullitt County Annex and cast your vote. And after November the 3rd, you have one more chance to vote. That's November the 7th. Your voting precinct change is no longer at the old William James School. It's now at Loretta Moore.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
Carol Love Jones Building, aka Loretta Moore.
With that being said, we'll move down to agenda item 20. I know we have personnel, but is there anything we'll say or litigation? Okay. All right. Consideration of a motion to enter into executive session to discuss personnel matters, potential litigation in accordance with OCGA 50-14-3B. Is there a motion to go into executive session? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. Chief?